In a career spanning more than 3 decades, Dr. Dre has done it all in music, but he has also kept pretty busy away from the studio. It turns out that he has a lot of kids with a bunch of different women, and you'll never believe the insane reaction he's had to some of his supposed kids. Dre had his first child, Curtis Young, at the early age of 16 with Cassandra Joy Green. At the time, he was still in high school. However, they actually weren't in each other's lives for years. They were estranged until Curtis was 20 and Cassandra mostly raised him on her own. But after his mom left his stepdad, Curtis started trying to find Dre. He was 15 at the time, and they met for the first time 5 years later. Curtis is now an actor and rapper who goes under the name Hood Surgeon. He starred in movies like Charge It to the Game and even composed the movie soundtrack. Curtis said to XXL that he and his dad have a close relationship now, and he clearly just wants to paint his father in the best light he can. However, the story of Dre's second child paints a totally different picture. LaTonya, born in 1983, is the first of 3 kids Dre has with Lisa Johnson, but her current situation will shock you. LaTonya now claims to be homeless and living in a car while her own kids are staying with some friends. People were outraged to hear her tell the Daily Mail that Dre doesn't give her any financial support. LaTonya admits that he used to, but his team allegedly blocked her from making any contact with him when she needed help. The reason they gave her for doing this is brutal. Apparently, Dre's team told her that he wouldn't be helping her anymore because she talked to the press about him. She's even started a GoFundMe to pay off her debt and for housing, while also working as both an Uber driver and a warehouse worker. Later in the interview, LaTonya made a heartbreaking admission. She said that all she wanted from Dre was for him to meet his grandkids, who he's allegedly never seen. Sadly, there are other stories of Dre neglecting his family. His third child, Tyra, is largely a mystery to the world. Although she has consistently been reported as Dre's daughter, the mother has never been identified. It is believed she is almost as old as LaTonya, meaning there was probably some overlap when it comes to his baby mamas. Tyra has kept a low profile despite being fairly exposed as an actress and producer, known best for appearing in an episode of Take 6 and the movie Ropes of Silicon. After Tyra, Dre went on to have 2 more daughters with LaTonya's mother Lisa. But the story of LaToya and Ashley's discovery is insane. Lisa filed for child support for 3 kids, but Dre has only ever accepted paternity status for LaTonya. So, very little is known about the other 2, and they are seen as Dre's secret children and rarely talked about. In fact, it was only after a 2010 interview with Lisa resurfaced that we found out anything about them. When asked how many children she had with Dre, she answered 3 daughters, which left the interviewer visibly shocked. But even after this news came out, Dre didn't admit to being the dad of LaToya or Ashley. Dre's next child was Andre R. Young Jr., born in 1988 with Jenna Porter. Dre again disputed his paternity status in 1990 when Andre was just 2. Following this, Jenna sued Dre for child support payments of $5,000 a month. She said that Dre had promised to support them, but had only given them a few gifts and small amounts of money. Although Dre eventually accepted paternity status, he didn't get to have a full relationship with Andre because of a devastating event. Andre tragically passed away at age 20. After going out with some friends, he came home to a house he shared with Jenna. He went to sleep, but then never woke up. His mother found him the next day, but it was too late. There was nothing she could do to help him. The Los Angeles coroner ruled that the cause was a substance overdose. Dre addressed his loss publicly and talked about his grief, so it looks like they managed to have some time as father and son after a difficult start. In 1991, Dre also had Marcel with singer Michel'le, who he dated from 1987 to 1996, but Marcel seems to have no interest in being in the spotlight and not much is known about him. Marcel was Michel'le's first child and Dr. Dre's 6th. After their son was born, their relationship became more strained. This was apparently because Dre's drinking and infidelity, but there were allegedly some other darker reasons their relationship fell apart. Michel'le has stated that Dre was physically hurtful toward her throughout the relationship, and her descriptions of it are hard to hear. She accused Dre of breaking her nose and giving her a black eye several times, but she made even more shocking claims. On The Breakfast Club, she said that after one argument, Dre apparently fired at Michel'le, only missing her by inches. She supposedly left the bullet in the door for him to see so that he would never do something something like that again. Her experience caused her to start self-medicating with prescription pills and alcohol. Allegedly, Michelle eventually left Dre after she discovered that he was engaged to another woman. The other woman he was engaged to was Nicole Young, the only one of Dre's baby mamas that he ever married. His first child with her was Truce, born in 1997, and it looks like they're very close, as it was once reported that they got matching tattoos. Truce went to the University of South Carolina and got impressive grades. After this, he chose to follow in his dad's footsteps by becoming a music producer and audio engineer. Dre's youngest child and second child with Nicole is Truly, who was born in 2001. Pursuing a career in film, she studied at the film school of the University of Southern California. Like Truce, it looks like she's pretty close with Dre, who seems to be very openly proud of her. He even boasted about her in a wild Instagram post. He praised Truly for doing it all on her own with no jail time involved, which might be a reference to the college admissions bribery scandal around Lori Loughlin and Massimo Gianoli. In a 2017 interview with Vogue, Truly said her parents offered to give her music lessons, but she apparently refused, saying that she'd rather learn by herself than ride on their coattails. And I completely get why that would make them proud of her. However, everything wasn't plain sailing for Dre and Nicole. She filed for divorce from the rapper in June 2020, citing irreconcilable differences. This was after 24 years of marriage. She also claimed that Dre engaged in verbal harm and infidelity. Allegedly, Dre said that she was trying to squeeze money out of him in their $1 billion divorce. Nicole reportedly requested roughly $2 million for temporary spousal support and an additional $5 million in lawyer fees. She claimed that he could lose a portion of his $1 billion fortune to their divorce because he allegedly tore up their prenup after he felt bad for pressuring her into signing it. That summer, Dre was ordered to pay $300,000 a month in spousal support, which would apparently last until she remarried or until the court decided otherwise. Nicole was then denied a protective order that she asked for after a snippet of Dre rapping was leaked on Instagram. In this clip, Dre talked about her swearing and calling her greedy. Although the couple eventually reached a settlement, there was more drama to come out of their divorce. During the divorce proceedings, Nicole brought in 3 women who she suspected of having affairs with Dre. One of them, Kelly Anderson, claims to have another of Dre's children. Although she didn't have to mention this in divorce court, it all came out anyway because Kelly was actually involved in another trial at the time. She was being sued by a former employee at her tanning salon because of an alleged breach of contract. The part of the contract that this person had allegedly breached concerned a confidential agreement that the employee had reportedly broken by asking other workers about Kelly's relationship with Dre and about her child. Nothing was ever confirmed about what would be Dre's 10th child, but whether the kid is Dre's or not, his family problems look like they're not over yet. But what do you guys think? Has Dre done a good job as a father? How many kids do you think he actually has out there? Let me know in the comments down below.